Hey everyone, I wanted to go over the new and interesting news that we have for Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, as Capcom has decided to provide us with a brand new poll where players will be able to choose the next developer challenge weapon, showcasing one of the upcoming event quests early next month. And essentially they are requesting for players to go ahead and give them some feedback and of course choose which one of the weapons, kind of like we have had now 2 separate developer challenges, and see the developers not only use the weapon that players will get to choose from, but more importantly perhaps for the 4th free title update, as they notice that maybe that weapon is not necessarily up to par, we can end up seeing some brand new quality of life improvements and maybe some brand new damage boosts as well. This is something that we of course got to see originally with the Gunlance. Most recently, we're also seeing that with the Insect Glaive, which we're going to be talking about in just a minute. And now we are going to be able to get to see it for the upcoming event quest. So the original post in English, but they also posted it in Japanese, an official Japanese Twitter account. And they also posted it in the Capcom Asia account as well, in both Chinese and in English as well. So they basically mentioned that the next Sunbreak Developer Challenge will be released in January, and it will be featuring a dual thread event quest against 2 title update threads. This of course they're mentioning, or referencing rather, a brand new event quest that we don't currently have access to. This one will be dropping presumably the 2nd week of January against a Violet Mitsuzune and a Lucent Nargacuga. This is going to be another one of those arena battles, kind of like the one that we had last week. They mentioned that in order for you to get your vote in, you simply just have to choose from the Great Sword, the Hunting Horn, the Switch Axe, or the Heavy Bowgun. Now the poll itself, once again, is also available not just in the official Monster Hunter Twitter account, but also in the Asian and Japanese Twitter accounts. I'm going to be leaving a link in the description below for you to be able to go ahead and vote if you so desire. They also did make mention that they are going to be combining the votes pretty much from all across each one of the Twitter accounts. So it's not going to be one of those where, like, based on the different areas, this is something that we kind of questioned before. Like if, for example, the Japanese audience chooses one weapon, but then the English version or English players choose another weapon, maybe they end up doing 2 separate videos. That's not going to be the case. They're going to be tallying up all the votes and simply going by what the unified fan base will choose to go with. So whether you want to see the developers play with the Great Sword, Hunting Horn, Switch Axe, or Heavy Bowgun, ultimately boils down to you choosing the weapon that you want them to use. So I'm going to be leaving a link in the description below for each one of the poll questions for you to be able to go ahead and choose the weapon you choose for them to desire and go ahead and play. Now for me personally, I'm probably going to go with the Great Sword, something that we haven't necessarily seen the developers use all that much, although I presume the Hunting Horn is probably going to be the popular vote this time around. There are plenty of Switch Axe players of course out there, but they don't necessarily play that weapon. They just love to talk about using that weapon. And of course, Heavy Bowgun is one of the most used weapons in the game right now because Pierce, Elemental Pierce, is crushing pretty much everything. So that is where we are right now. With that said, however, some of the gameplay you may have already been seeing is the most recently shared developer challenge video, as they are using the Insect Glaive versus the most recently provided event quest versus the Crimson Glow Valstrax and the Furious Rajang. This is of course the result of the previous developer challenge poll, where players ended up voting and choosing for developers to play the Insect Glaive. And we presume, based on this, when we start getting those weekly updates heading into the 4th free title update, we are most likely going to end up getting some type of confirmation that the Insect Glaive will be getting some love. Of course, they already got some quality of life improvements in the last patch. Some things were cleared up, but of course, not necessarily fully sorted out just yet. People have been wondering if one of the biggest glitches for Insect Glaives will be fixed. We don't currently have any details on that as of yet, so we're still pending on just how much love this weapon will end up getting. Of course, the free title updates will provide us with more details on that. We also went over the most recent provided patch notes as well for the hotfix. On the Steam side of things, there weren't any sort of weapon balance changes there. It was just kind of like addressing some of the save glitch issues happening on the PC side of things. The Capcom official Japanese Twitter account did provide further details as well that I didn't necessarily know about until my video went live yesterday, and they similarly said that they are going to be looking into more details regarding the glitch save situation on the Steam side of things. I will also mention that someone asked me in the comments how come the Nintendo Switch version was not included in the most recent hotfix for Sunbreak, and that is because, of course, that glitch is only happening on the PC side of things. Nintendo Switch players are not reporting currently that they are having any sort of, corrupted save data happening just kind of out of nowhere. This has been an ongoing situation on Steam for quite a few months now, and I've made 2 separate videos on the issue already, so hopefully the developers will be able to find some sort of solution for that. But as far as the video that you have most likely been seeing loop in the background, the developer challenge for the Insect Glaive, we do get to see them take down the Crimson Glow Valstrax and the Furious Rajang in a somewhat relatively easy fashion. This was probably one of the weakest dual threat quests for all the hype that we did end up getting for this quest, especially when the votes went up. And of course, this was the very first event quest that we got revealed for. Well, we were still dealing with the second free title update. We didn't necessarily know all of the quests for the third free title update. We were expecting this one to be a little bit more challenging. It did not necessarily turn out to be that way. So, of course, it was a little bit of a disappointment. The Insect Glaive gameplay is relatively good. I have no real complaints with it. They do spend a lot of time in the air, which, of course, once again doubles down on that idea that Insect Glaive users most likely should stay off the ground and focus more on aerial attacks. Of course, that doesn't necessarily mean that every single one of the monsters will, make it easy for you to be able to do the most amount of damage in the air, but it is most likely the most optimal way for you to be able to play the Insect Glaive currently. Of course, any further changes going forward will be able to change that a little bit. So once again, the next developer challenge will be airing in January, the second week of January, if we are to believe the upcoming list of event quests that we do have for the third free title update. I will have a video. I've teased it now 2 separate videos in a row, and I've not necessarily put out that video, so I do apologize in that regard if you're expecting for me to kind of cover the leaks and the data mines. I do have 2 videos in the works for that. One, I will be talking about all of the event quests that we are getting for the third free title update. I will have another video discussing all of the monsters, so do stick around for that. I know I've teased it twice already, but I'm working on other things as well, so I do apologize that I haven't necessarily put out that video. I'm also working on another armor video as well, showcasing all the details for the third free title update armors that we are going to get as well. That one's taking me a little bit longer to kind of put together, since I do kind of go back all the way to the Monster Hunter Frontiers information that we had originally, so that one's taking me a bit longer than I expected. So all those videos should be coming out on my channel relatively soon, so I do appreciate it if you do stick around and hopefully get to watch those videos as well. But that's about all the information that I have for you guys today. If you are brand new to my channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, hit the bell to receive notifications when the videos go up, and as always, thank you so much for watching. See ya.